understand, I feel like voting is the most American thing that we can do. That's what makes us a democracy. So making sure that we're going through the necessary steps to get registered to vote, knowing the polls, knowing who's on the ballot, educating ourselves, knowing who's on the ballot, because there's a lot of names that, you really need to study up and know what they believe in, because these are the people that's representing you in the House and in the Senate, the sheriffs, the judges, everybody that's on that ballot. We need to know about it. And I think it's huge for us to continue to push that out and make sure that everybody's checking their status, because I just checked mine yesterday and I'm still not registered. So I'm continuing to work through that process and make sure that I'm registered by the time the election's here.
I have a football question. Obviously, you've been in the league a long. You're new to this organization, but you've been in the league a long time. You've been with two organizations. What is it like for you when you see this team take care of a player like Zach Cunningham? They didn't have to do it necessarily yesterday, but they did. What is it like for you as a veteran to see that kind of thing? And what is the message there from your point of view?
From my point of view is, he's obviously played really well here through his career. And you take care of your guys, you take care of your guys that you drafted, that you believed in, and that produced. You take care of them up front. And I think it's a blessing for him. I talked to him a little bit about it and the importance and the opportunity that he now has to be able to change his family's life for generations to come. So I think it's a blessing for him, and I'm super glad for the organization.
John.
Randall, can you tell us, please, the similarities between Rodgers, Prescott, and Watson that make them great?
I think they all have an innate ability. You look at their ability alone, they're special. They're gifted athletes. But then you mix in their ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage, to know what they want to get to all within a play clock. That's what makes really good quarterbacks special. And I think, after being able to work with D4 now for a few weeks, you see just how special he is. And I think he's going to continue to grow. And I'm excited to be a part of his growth.
Aaron Wilson.
Hey, Randall, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, thank you. Randall, the president of the NFLPA, J.C. Tretter, he's advocating for daily testing throughout the season, and they're still talking about that. They also announced today that testing numbers remain extremely low. Just as a player and a veteran guy, what's your thoughts on daily testing, kind of how the program is going so far, and whether that would be something you'd want to see throughout the season? And I have a follow-up.
As far as right now, I think we've had 100% negative, which is really good. Things I think will, hopefully they don't, but as we begin to travel, as we begin to go to different cities, we still will be in somewhat of a bubble when we get to the hotels and not being able to go to restaurants like we may have before. And, obviously seeing people, friends, family members in those cities won't be allowed. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that. But I think as far as safety precautions go, knowing that we are getting tested and knowing that we are negative will make me a lot more comfortable being able to go home to my family. So I think that hopefully we can get that done. I haven't paid attention to where we are with those conversations here more recently. So, but hopefully we stay on track with that.
Randall, a football question. It'll be both teams against each other, but it'll also be two of the top quarterbacks in the game with Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes when you play the Chiefs. Just your thoughts on those guys, kind of where they stand, and kind of the pantheon of quarterbacks, and your thoughts on playing against Tyrann Mathieu. Thank you.
I think obviously you look at these two young guys. Obviously Mahomes coming off a Super Bowl win. Deshaun, his career, obviously seeing how well he's played these last few years. They're the next generation. I started my career in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, and I didn't think anybody would ever touch the level of play that he was playing at, through a few years that I was there with him. And obviously he was coming off a Super Bowl win there as well. And now you got two guys that are playing at an extremely high level. And I'm excited to see their futures continue to grow. I'm very excited about Deshaun, like being able to work with him over these past few weeks. He's special. I think is something different about him that I look forward to seeing on game day and being a part of that on game day. And Tyrann Mathieu, I've always had a lot of respect for him. I've always loved watching his game dating back to college. And I think this will be the first time I actually get to match up against him. The few games that we played when he was in Arizona and I was in Green Bay, I think one of us was hurt in each of those situations. And I think this will be the first time we actually get to match up. So I look forward to that. He's a great competitor. What he brings to the game is special. And he loves fun and he loves doing what he does. So I look forward to the matchup.
Aaron Reese.
Hey, Randall, I know the Packers won the Super Bowl after you, before you got there. But having played with Rodgers and then getting to play with some of these other quarterbacks you have faced, what, if anything, do you think kind of changes about the locker room dynamic when there is a quarterback who has won a Super Bowl, part of that team? Does it change at all how you think guys view the quarterback?
I think that you talk about perception with that. Like, obviously, the perception is one thing. But I think the consensus is, how does that person come to work every day? How does he get better? What kind of teammate he is? What kind of leader he is? And those are the things I think that guys respect more. Just because you win a Super Bowl, like, obviously that's an amazing achievement. But it's how do you come back from that? How do you continue to work and push forward and continue to get better and push yourself and push your teammates to be the best they can be? I got to see that in Green Bay. And, we're chasing that here. I think that we have the pieces. It's now going out on the field and putting it all together.
DP.
Hi, Randall. A non-football question. You're so passionate about getting people out to vote. What were your thoughts on yesterday's announcement that Energy Park is going to be a polling location and election headquarters for the 2020 election? And how does that work into what you and your teammates discussed last week on the field after the scrimmages, making a change in the social justice initiatives?
I really think that's huge, having the arena open up for that large amount of people being able to have easier access. I think the flow, obviously, with the space alone that you have in the arena, along with the parking, I think it'll make the process a lot easier. Some of our leadership meetings that we've had here more recently, we're trying to find ways that we can get actively involved in being at some of the poll sites. So we're still trying to figure out a way that we can be there. And, especially at this time, it makes it a little more difficult, obviously, with COVID. We have a lot of restrictions, but we also want to be there because there's a lot of people that volunteer at these polls that the numbers are going to be down because not many people are going to be volunteering. So we're trying to find a way that we can advocate and help lend our own hands and bodies at these poll sites. So we're still working through that, and hopefully we can come up with something by that time.
Brandon.
Hey, Randall, as far as the team's discussion about the social justice issues and trying to combat racism and all of the things that I know that the players are passionate about, what is the effort in terms of getting in touch with owners? What kind of challenge is that in trying to get ownership on board? And what is the message to ownership, if any, in terms of helping you guys accomplish what you guys want to accomplish? And then I do have a follow-up.
I think the challenge is we know and understand that we're football players, right? Like, we're paid to do a job. We're paid to go out on the field and play. We know we have somewhat of a voice to be able to get ourselves in some rooms. But as an owner of a multi-billion-dollar industry, they have a little more access than us as players to be able to get in front of people and use their voice to take a stand for our lives. It's obviously, when you look at different organizations, a lot of the executive boards, the people that are the top dogs at these organizations, there's not many people that look like me that can advocate for me the way that that I could. So I think being able to get them to understand that, being able to set up committees that bring in different voices to help with the understanding. It's hard for me. This whole process has been hard for me. And I was talking to my wife about this the other day. It's hard for me to understand the why, how we can watch a video, the same video, and have such polarized differences in the belief of a man getting shot in his back 7 times, or a man having a knee on his throat for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And this isn't a new thing. This is things that we've traumatically envisioned of ourselves, of our brothers, of our uncles, of our fathers. This it's not a new thing. These are stories that we've been told. Now we're seeing it on video over and over and over again. And it's hard for me to understand the why. Like, why does somebody feel the way they do about somebody that looks like me? Like what is the I really want to have those conversations and it be an educational understanding of why you feel that way towards someone who looks like me. It really has taken over my mind over these past 2 weeks. Whenever I'm not in football, whenever I'm not with my kids, when I really am by myself, driving in the car from the facility to the house, or, in a shower, like it really captivates my mind to understand the why. 'Cause I really want to know and understand. And if I can ever get to a point where I understand, maybe I can accept it, but it's hard for me to accept it and move on. Like, people are dying, and I know people die of a lot of different causes, but there shouldn't be a cause when somebody that's supposed to protect you is killing you, and makes it difficult.
And then my other question is actually a lot more lighthearted. I see you on here with the glasses again. I'm asking you this as somebody who's also been behind on his eye prescription. How have the glasses enhanced your life? Are you seeing things that you didn't see before? And does it help your football game? How does it help you on the field?
Yeah, well, I've been wearing contacts and practicing in games for the past couple of years. So football, I actually had to change my prescription here recently. I hadn't had it updated in 2 years, so that's part of a problem in itself. But the last time I went to the doctor, I just realized, now that I wear glasses, that my vision was a lot worse than I wanted to believe. And that's that pride I was holding on to. But I finally let go of that pride, and now they call me Four Eyes. So we're good.
Got time for 2 more, Brian and then John.
Randall, having played the position in college to start out your freshman year at the quarterback, how intricate have you been in order to help these quarterbacks that you play with and what you see? Because sometimes you're seeing the same things that they're seeing. And also along those lines, talking about the universities, these players may not have an opportunity or a chance to play this season. What will you tell the college players, or what advice would you give these college players who may miss out on their entire season that want to play or trying to make it into the NFL?
Well, with the first question, I think my quarterback play is something that really helped me over my career. Being able to talk and speak like a quarterback, understanding the coverages that come with certain fronts, being able to understand the holes in the defense, being able to understand the progression of a quarterback on certain plays, and knowing that as a receiver, knowing that the timing may be a little different on one route, the same route in a different play series, just based off of the progression of the quarterback. So being able to have those conversations, I think, helps the chemistry grow. I miss playing quarterback, but it's this arm a little rusty these days. So I think I made the right move. But with the college players, I feel like they're in a really, really tough spot. along with the rookies here in the league. I think they're in a really, really tough spot. Not having preseason games, I think, really hurts them because some players you can see stuff in practice, but once you get to a game and the lights come on, some people step up and make plays and some shy away that maybe were making a lot of plays in practice. So I think it's really difficult to be able to scout those guys in this environment. With the college players, I mean, they don't have a union. They don't have anybody that's looking out for them. I mean, I can't imagine being in that situation right now, what they're feeling, what they're going through, with the decision, especially when there's universities that's not allowing players on campus or students on campus, but the players are still there. And it's like a catch-22 because they're probably safer being on campus than in some of their neighborhoods and being involved with a lot of things that could come up in their neighborhoods if they weren't at school. So it's a difficult situation, and I don't have any answers for that. I don't know how to best combat it. It's really just at this point trying to take it a day at a time and trying to figure out and make the best decision that you can with the knowledge that you got.
Last one for John.
Randall, you guys have done a great job following the protocols and not having a positive test, but regular season is beginning. Do veteran players like you, should you play a role in making sure young people, especially young single guys, continue to follow the protocols, or should that be up to the coaches?
We're grown men. We're grown men out here, and we can give advice. We can say what you should and shouldn't do. Coaches can give advice and say what you should or shouldn't do. But at the end of the day, people are going to go home and they're going to make the decisions that they make, and you can't control that as best as you try. You try to give them all the facts and let them understand the impact that they make will affect not only them, but the ones around them. And hopefully they make the right decision. That's all you can do. I think that's as far as our voice goes. At the end of the day, man to man, we got to make these decisions that are best for ourselves, our families, and for our team. And hopefully we're all continuing to do that throughout the season.
Okay, thanks, Randall.
All right.